Hi, and welcome back to another harmony lesson. Now, you might recall a little while ago we went over a chord chart that showed chord progressions for major keys. Now, this is the same chord chart but for minor keys. Now, once again, this is mostly for classical music, but it does apply to pop music. It applies to jazz, rock, metal, whatever. You can use it in other ways. And it's pretty much the same chart except for the scale degrees are slightly different, and the chord qualities are different. So whereas before you might have a major chord, now you have a minor chord, or vice versa. And it moves kind of freely between the natural minor, the harmonic minor, and the melodic minor. Now, if you don't know the natural minor, because I kind of skim over, it's not really its own scale so much as it is a mode of the major scale. So if it specifically started on the sixth scale degree of a major scale, so if we're in the key of C, for example, C major, the sixth scale degree, A, that's where you'll find the natural minor, and those are known as relative major and minor keys. Now, for the rest of this example, I'll pretend that we're using various C minor scales, just because C is an easy example to think in for me and use, but it obviously applies to other scales. You just need to shift everything around. So the biggest difference that we have here is we have this major 7 that we didn't have before. Now this is explicitly something that's from the natural minor, and so it is referring entirely to a B flat major chord, and that goes to the 3, which once again this is also explicitly referring to the natural minor, and so it's E flat major. And part of the reason for this is back in the 1700s, classical musicians really they didn't really know what to do with augmented chords. They scared them a little bit. They didn't like being kind of stretching the fifth out of their comfort zone. It just wasn't a thing they liked, so they avoided it. Now, the rest of these will mostly be taken from the harmonic minor, but most of them, until we get to this box over here, also apply to the natural minor. So the 6 is, once again, since it's harmonic minor, it'll be an A flat major chord. This, you know how it leads to things, but we'll just go straight to the 4. The 4, once again, harmonic minor, so you have a minor 4 starting on F, so F minor. Then it goes to a 2 diminished. This would once again be on a D, so on the major second scale degree, just like in major, but now it's a D diminished. Now this is the box that is definitely harmonic minor, but it can also be melodic minor. It's just really, I should say, not definitely harmonic minor so much as definitely not natural minor. Now the reason for this is both of these contain the major 7th scale degree, the B, and that B really leads into the C that is our tonic over here, and so that's kind of why the harmonic minor and melodic minor come into use, because they have that strong pull towards one. They make the one the tonic, and for tonal harmony you want to make something your tonic. And usually you don't put any gin in it, but you have that option if you really like puns. So anyway, the 7 that we have here is not the same 7 that we have there, not just because it's diminished, but because this is referring to a B diminished chord. So this is B DF as opposed to this, which is B flat DF. And remember this idea because it's going to come into play later with other things, the idea of just moving the root note up a half step, but that's a different lesson. Just keep it in mind. Foreshadowing. This is very exciting. And so once again, they don't write it here, but you can move from the B diminished to the G major, which is what this 5 is referring to, but it sounds more like a dominant 7 chord. And so since it's not strictly triadic, that arrow isn't there, but know that you can do it. It's an option. And so this G, once again, can be either melodic or harmonic minor, and it pushes towards that one. Now, I will add that if you want to do this chord chart strictly in the harmonic or melodic minor, you can do that. I would suggest not going to that 7 because it no longer exists. This 7 leads so heavily to the 1, so you don't get to have a B major 7 or a B major chord. Though we will get into the fact that you can actually have that later. It's just, once again, different lesson, different idea. If you're keeping things strictly diatonic, then you're not going to have that B major chord. So you can take all of these and just you make the 3 augmented, or you make this an A minor chord instead of being an A flat major chord. You can, or no, actually, I'm sorry, you'd make that an A diminished chord, my mistake. The 4 would become, depending on if you change it to melodic minor, it'd become a major 4. The 2 would become a minor 2, and that's really it. So, like I said, this chord chart mostly switches between using the natural minor, the harmonic minor, and the melodic minor, especially the natural minor and the harmonic minor, but you can use a lot of these just as easily with the melodic minor. And yeah, that's it. Hope this has been useful to you, and yeah, have a great day and come back soon.